It is June the 2nd, 2022. Chogam countdown is on. The clock is ticking. We are just 19 days away from the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting right here in Kigali, which is scheduled to start from the week of June 20th. Now, very good evening indeed, and you know what to expect. News, and we have a lot of that. These are the top stories for our viewers in Rwanda and those who are joining us from everywhere across the world. Prime Minister Edward Ngirente has said that the extent to which the global economies can grow will depend on the ability to ensure equitable access to technology. Prime Minister was speaking at the official opening of the first ever Generation Connect Global Youth Summit organized by International Telecommunication Union at the Inari Arena in Kigali this Thursday. Now, health and technology professionals say it is essential for the youth to be well versed with the healthcare technology field in times like this to aid its innovation. Rwanda airports operators and stakeholders today conducted an aerodrome simulation emergency exercise drill at Kigali International Airport, with authorities emphasizing that Rwanda's airports stakeholders have the required skills to rapidly respond to any emergency in case of aviation-related incidents. Thanks indeed for joining us. You're watching RwandaTV News live from Kigali. I'm Ethan Tashubia, and thank you so much for joining us on tonight's broadcast. Prime Minister Dr. Edward Ngirente on Thursday opened the 2022 Generation Connect Global Summit organized by the International Telecommunication Union at Inari Arena here in Kigali. The three-day summit, which attracted about 500 young people aged between 15 to 29 from around the world, will discuss how young people can shape a safe, inclusive and sustainable digital future. Addressing young delegates gathered at Inari Arena this afternoon, Prime Minister said the extent to which the global economies can grow will depend on the ability to ensure equitable access to technology, as well as upskilling and reskilling global population, especially the young people.
Reports measuring how many children and youth have internet access at home revealed that over 2/3 of school-age children between 3 and 17 years, roughly about 1.3 billion people, and 63% of youth aged between 15 and 24 years lack internet access at home. And this is a huge number. Without affordable access to connectivity, majority of young people will not benefit from these opportunities, hence worsening the youth unemployment rates. In Rwanda, we have embraced the use of digital technologies as engine of transformation. Our national strategy for transformation targets to ensure digital literacy for all youth, which means 16 to 30 years by 2024. This will be done through the implementation of a national digital literacy program with the objective of achieving digital literacy of at least 60% among adults by 2024.
Now, Doreen Bodan Martin, the director of ITU's Telecommunication Development Bureau, said that among the concrete steps taken to ensure equitable access to technology is fostering youth dialogue and participating in decision-making processes.
Our role is to help you in any way that we can to really create a shared vision and to be able to translate that vision into a concrete call to action, one that we can take forward to our World Telecommunications Development Conference. We want to make sure that your voices are heard loudly and clearly. In the debates that are going to culminate next week in our WTDC, we will have the Kigali Action Plan. We believe that your call to action is an important part of that plan, and we will be working to shape the future digital development agenda for the next 4 years, and we need to hear your voices.
In other stories, health and technology professionals say that it is essential for the youth to be well versed with the healthcare technology field in times like this to provide aid in times of need. Precious Chirezi has this report.
Technological expert Peace Ilaguhandori says the technology she works with is meant to prevent diseases that aren't contagious as well as provide residents with information regarding them.
This is called Lifestyle Health, and what it does is leverage on technology to create a solution around lifestyle diseases. So these are the diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and the likes. And what it does is create health challenges and link our clients to people who are service providers in these three sectors, which are nutritional health, mental health, and also physical fitness. So what we're trying to do is like engage people in these activities so as to create more healthy living and also give control to our clients in terms of their health and their health styles. So we're doing this through a mobile application, and we'll be creating different challenges where people can like set goals. Let's say if it's working out, if it's some liters of water you need to drink per week. So we give you the basic recommendations, and then you set your own goals. And by achieving those small goals in your daily activities, you collect points. And those points are redeemed through our partners who are in the three sectors I mentioned: mental health, nutritional health, and physical fitness.
The country director of the North-Scale Foundation in Rwanda embarks on the challenges faced by youth in the technological field, like not having enough capital to put their projects in practice, or sponsors to lend them the helping hand they need to reach the residents they want to service. The International Health Summit has kicked off in Kigali as of this Thursday and has gathered health and technological professionals in Rwanda and the world at large, with the aim to expand technology innovations that could benefit the health sector. The state minister in the Ministry of Health has pointed out that Rwanda is a country that prioritizes innovation in technology aimed at benefiting healthcare and urged the youth to play a part in the process.
We need the youth to invest their innovative energy into solving problems first in Rwanda and Africa.
Head of the Novartis Foundation, Ann Arts, emphasizes that one of the advantages of integrating technology into healthcare is that complications and diseases are discovered early on, a good example being technological advancements in the US, being able to predict whether a person is at high risk of suffering a stroke. She added on that technology should be availed to save lives.
I think technology can definitely help address the shortage of specialists and skilled health professionals in the world, not only in Africa, but also in Africa, because the combination of human power with the digital power is just much more than the sum of the two together. If we work with health workers that are less skilled, you can centralize the experts, the specialists in one place, and they can coach the less skilled health workers by telehealth or virtual services, which is really very powerful. We have seen during the COVID pandemic, when the governments really were trying to keep social distancing in order, and they were trying not to disrupt the health services for people, we've seen an explosion and a really unprecedented expansion of virtual health and care services. And that shows the power of how we can use digital technology to address the weaknesses in our current health systems. We will never be able to equip all the health systems across Africa with the millions of health workers we need now. They are needed now, not in 10 years, also in 10 years, but also now. So we need to be innovative. We need to create new ways of delivering health and care. And in fact, I think the best way for remediating the shortage of health workers is that we prevent people to get sick. If we can make our health systems becoming not so reactive, waiting until people to get sick to take care of them, but becoming more preventive. If they are proactive, they know where people at risk are living, they know what kind of interventions can be implemented to address those. So that is really the new way we have to look at health systems.
The Ministry of Health says 85% of Rwanda's residents have access to health insurance, and that is one of the areas technology should be integrated into. Out of the 30 projects that aim to integrate technology into healthcare receiving funding from the Novartis Foundation, 20 of them were developed by Rwandans. Precious Chidezi, RTV News.
Thank you, Patience, for that report. Precious, rather, for that report. We really thank you for that detailed report. Now, in other stories, the northern members of member countries of the Northern Corridor are meeting in Kigali for a 5-day meeting to reflect on, among other things, how to increase the public-private partnership in implementation of various projects related to trade and transport facilitation along the corridor. Now, in the studio, I'm joined by Omai Nyarandi, who is the Executive Secretary of the Northern Corridor Transit Transport Coordination, to tell us more about this meeting and what it actually means for the Northern Corridor and regional integration, as a matter of fact. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For joining us.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here.
Thanks. Are you having a good time in Kigali?
Very much.
Yeah?
Very good city.
Thank you. I think the mayor of City of Kigali needs to hear that. So let's talk about the Northern Corridor. It's a lot of progress is happening in terms of integration, but also equally a lot of setbacks.
Yes.
If you read through what is happening. But let's tell us briefly, what is the situation like, especially in the area of transport and, of course, facilitation of trade in the region?
As you are aware, Northern Corridor and any other corridor, the work is to ensure connectivity, especially to the international markets.
Yeah.
So the Northern Corridor connects the member countries, which includes Rwanda, to the port of Mombasa. And during this period, especially Kenya, which is the host country, election is around the corner.
Oh, yes.
In August.
There's a lot of buzz around it.
Yes, and obviously member countries want assurance that there is going to be security along the corridor, and there is going to be free movement of goods because of the history they have for post-election violence, which happened in 2008. We've had discussions with government at high levels, and they have assured us, and we are assuring member countries, that there is going to be enough security and the goods will move as normal during that direction, during that time. Coming to these other countries, there are some closure of some borders.
Yeah.
Even between Rwanda and Burundi, Rwanda has opened the border, but Burundi is yet to open to business. There was the issue of between Uganda and Rwanda, and now the issue between Rwanda and DRC. And the work of the corridor is smooth business and smooth transfer of goods and services and movement of people, which is the mandate of Northern Corridor. And I take this opportunity to tell the policymakers, especially politicians, that when such borders are closed, business goes down and the lives of people, livelihood goes down. So they should ensure that such problems are solved amicably and the business returns to normal. There's a lot of business that goes on cross-border trade, and this needs to continue.
What is the role of a business community in such conflicts, especially making sure that these conflicts actually end? Before I talk about what you actually are doing, but what should the business community do in such incidents? You mentioned Rwanda, Burundi, Rwanda, DRC, and other communities that we've had.
What we have advocated as Northern Corridor is that each border station should have what we call joint border committees, which are composed of both public and private sector on both sides of the border. So they come together to sort out the issues. But when those decisions are made at higher levels, they are left at a loss, because for them, business has to continue. So the business community has to still continue discussing and seeing how to solve out those problems to be able to continue with business.
So tell us, in your area of expertise, let's get out of politics. We hope things are going to get better.
We hope so. We hope so.
Tell us, what, from the time that the Northern Corridor was set up and, of course, the initiative itself in trade facilitation, what have you guys achieved?
A corridor is measured in terms of volume, the cost of moving that volume of goods in the corridor, and transit time. Since the corridor was formed, and if I talk for the past 5 years, you've seen a lot of progress in terms of single customs territory, where you can clear goods in Mombasa and move along the corridor without a lot of stoppages in the border. We've seen a lot of reduction in non-tariff barriers. There used to be a lot of police people along the road, creating a lot of delays. This has gone down. We've seen quite a number of efficiencies within the corridor. The number of days the goods take, like a container takes from Mombasa to Malaba, which is the border between Uganda and Kenya. It used to be 7 days to 10 days. Nowadays it takes around 3 days. So there's a lot of progress that has happened within the corridor, including the border stations, one-stop border stations, which the development partners have assisted in constructing.
So very lastly, I know I'll have a lot of questions. Sorry, I'm struggling here. So what brings you to Kigali for this specific meeting of 5 days, and what do you intend to achieve in these 5 days?
In the treaty, it recognizes particular committees and particular meetings, starting with the Council of Ministers, which is the highest, Ministers of Transport, coming to the PSS. And then below the PSS, we have technical committees, both in private and public, who come together to discuss the programs that the corridor should undertake to ensure they are efficient. We are here bringing together these committees from all the member countries to discuss programs for the next financial year.
Are you also discussing the railway project from Tanzania through Rwanda to DRC?
No, because the northern corridor starts from the port of Mombasa. The central corridor, which will be discussing such things like railways and others, for them starts from the port of Dar es Salaam.
Because the reason why I said, because it's also it's going to be a huge boost for the central corridor, but it's also going to probably give you a challenge to start something from Mombasa through Uganda. I know there is something like that.
There is already there is SGR from Mombasa all the way to Nairobi, extending to Naivasha, which is 120 kilometers. But let me clarify, we don't see Central Corridor as competitor because we all serve the East African community, the Great Lakes region. We complement each other to ensure that we are all ensuring these countries make progress.
Mr. Omar Nyarandi, the Executive Secretary of the Northern Corridor, quite a number. Secretariat, is that the right one?
Executive Secretary.
Secretariat. He joins us here to tell us about the meeting that is happening in Kigali and much more of what is happening in the region in terms of integration. But you know what is happening, really. Not the best things, but we hope things are going to be getting better. Thank you so much for your time indeed, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, in other news, there has been a continued rise in sugar and meat prices on the market, and some of the traders have been caught inflating prices rules, attributing it to the ongoing global disruptions. However, the price of sugar have since gone down. We have this report.
Some residents of Kigali City point out that the price of sugar has lowered, something they are grateful for. The price of sugar reduced. Only prices for soap, rice and maize flour remain high. Sugar lowered from 2,000 Rwanda francs per kilo to 1,500 Rwanda francs. That means it's 700 Rwanda francs on half a kilo. So our children now take porridge with sugar. Not all commodity prices lower at once, but the price of sugar has reduced significantly. Traders also say the prices on which they used to get sugar reduced over time. 50 kilograms of sugar now costs 60,000 Rwanda francs from 88,000, a reduction of 28,000 Rwanda francs. We are currently selling a kilo of sugar for 1,500 and 1,400 Rwanda francs for the Kabuye sugar. Karangwa Kasie, Director of Domestic Trade at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, pointed out that this was due to the fact that the country's sugar imports have increased in the month of May. Sugar imports have increased. For instance, between March and April, there was an increase of sugar imports of about 7,000 tons, while sugar imports between April and May almost doubled. On the other hand, the price of meat have continued to rise, with buyers accusing traders to set prices of their wish. We used to buy a kilo of meat for 3,500 Rwanda francs, but now costs 4,000 or even 4,500. So imagine you have to buy 2 kilos plus other spices. That's between 7,500 Rwanda francs and 10,000. In other words, eating meat these days is close to impossible for an ordinary person. Meat is not for everyone these days. A kilo that used to cost 3,500 Rwanda francs now costs 4,500. It is unfortunate that prices are increasing, but our salaries are not increasing. That's a big problem. On the side of traders, getting cows to slaughter for meat has been a problem in the recent, which is why every trader sets their preferred prices. We also get meat at high prices. Before we used to get a kilo on 2,700 Rwanda francs, but it has now increased to 3,500. That is why we are selling a kilo at 4,000 Rwanda francs. Due to the continued rise in the prices of meat, the Rwanda Inspectorate, Competition and Customer Protection Authority has requested traders to stop hiking meat prices. In Kigali City, the price of a kilo of meat should not exceed from 2,700 to 2,900 Rwanda francs at slaughter places, while on butchers, the prices should strictly be between 3,200 to 3,500 Rwanda francs. The Ministry of Trade and Industry says in an inspection carried out on the 1st and 2nd of June, 29 traders were fined for not respecting pricing rules. On the other commodities like cooking oil and soap, the Ministry of Trade and Industry assured residents that oil manufacturing industries, both local and foreign ones, are planning to increase the quantity of what they bring on the local market, hence prices will not continue to rise. Prices for potato, beans and rice are still high, but with the expected produces for the 2022 beef season, prices for those commodities are expected to reduce.
Thank you, Innocent, for that report. Now, this Thursday, the Rwanda Airports Company conducted an aerodrome simulation emergency exercise at Kigali International Airport. The exercise comes at a time Rwanda anticipates high traffic at the airport during the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting due to take place from the week of June 20th. Now, according to airports managers and stakeholders, the exercise simulating a fictitious aviation-related incident in the event of a plane crash gave confidence that authorities can properly handle the situation in case of an incident. Innocent Mugabo now reports.
During the exercise, with use of a retired aeroplane set on fire, various agencies respond like indeed it is an accident. Normally the response should start in less than 3 minutes, considering how security services, ambulances, first aid providers and helicopters get to the scene in a timely manner and transport the injured to the hospital. The managing director of Rwanda Airports Company RSC, Charles Habonimana, explains the importance of such exercise.
It is important and it's a requirement of the regulators of civil aviation authorities, whether national or international. The emergency exercise, it's an exercise that we conduct every 2 years in order to assess our readiness to save lives and also to bring back the airport in normal operations. Actual exercise has been conducted in collaboration with other stakeholders, not only the airport operators, but also the other stakeholders, including the government institutions, the the authorities, civil and military and police in security organs, and it has been achieved in a remarkable, I can say that this has been well achieved as we planned.
The Minister of Infrastructure, Sabimana Ernest, finds the practice a great opportunity to showcase capability when it comes to emergency management.
It shows the readiness and the capability of the airport in terms of equipment, in terms of communication, in terms of management, in terms of course how we should manage any task at entire airport. So if the airport is ready, if the airport is capable, it has the ability to respond to this such as emergency.
The exercise, which takes place every 2 years, took place in 2019 and was scheduled to resume in 2021 but unable due to the measures meant to avoid the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. All international airports are required to exercise by the International Civil Aviation Organization. Innocent Mugabo, RTV News.
Now, in other stories, on Thursday, primary students of Green Hills Academy graduated the first cohorts who completed primary year program, otherwise referred to as grade 5. The program aims at training these young learners to contribute to their country in problem solving, as well as play a big role in building the capacity of students. Olvinote attended the event and filed this report.
The Primary Years program at Green Hills Academy is a student-centered education program in which students are able to do researches about different challenges that the world is facing, and it helps them to learn how they can contribute to solving those problems. Some of the students note that they acquired knowledge through this program.
It's very effective because I've learned to use both languages, English, French, and also we have a lesson of Tinyanda. Well, we had an exhibition about world problems, you know. For me, my group was five stars. We worked on zero hunger. They told us about plagiarism and everything else to make sure we know the rights and wrongs of this program.
I feel good today and I'm so proud that I got congrats to my certificate for middle school and the PYP new exhibition year.
On the other hand, parents point out that they are content with the achievements made by their children. Isimbi Michelle, one of the parents, notes that this program is beneficial to the students.
It's actually a really good program for your child to be in because it makes your child be involved in every step of education. And the good thing about this program is it involves the parents.
Katrina Jihad, the principal of primary education at Green Hills Academy, notes that students made extraordinary efforts in this new program. She also points out that this program will assist the students in contributing to solving various challenges.
Through our academic year and our PYP exhibition, our learners worked extremely hard. It was challenging at the beginning, but they used those new technology skills to do so much research and make a change in our community. They are our leaders of our future. They are the ones to make change in the community, and I really do want them to succeed within every single day of their lives.
This primary year program was initiated in this school in 2021. It includes various subjects such as climate change, fighting poverty, and other different subjects. Olive Nete, RTV News.
I will take this moment to wish the Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom a happy Platinum Jubilee. That report brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. Many thanks for your company tonight. On behalf of the entire news production team, asante sana, thank you so much. Tunashukuru, murakoze chane. Bye for now.